everyone, it's great to see you. It is a beautiful day out here. It's a little hot, very sunny, and I want to take you on a quick tour of the planters that I have on our deck. So this year I added the deck railing planters, and they have come a long way in the past month or so. And then I also have some larger planters that actually sit on the ground. Now I have my cheat sheet here. So what I do is I take the plant tags that I have and I punch holes in them and keep them on a key ring, because I have so many new annuals that I'm trying this year. I can't remember all their names. So you're probably going to see me look at this to figure out what some of these plants are. And of course you remember that I'm trying some new things this year. So I'm getting a feel of what's working well, what is overtaking the planter, what has now disappeared because it's been overtaken by other things. And it'll give me a good idea of what I want to do next year in these planters. So this first planter here has the beautiful Supertunia Blue Skies petunia trailing down. I have one on this side, one on the other, and I am very pleased with this petunia. It is holding its own. I like how it's trailing. It's giving me a lot of this beautiful light kind of iridescent pink color. This so far is definitely a keeper to me. Now I do have in each of these planters a Sweetheart Caroline, a Sweet Caroline, Sweetheart Lime. Oh boy, I gotta get the sweets right. But it is the heart-shaped potato vine that Proven Winners sells. And this one is not supposed to be as vigorous as some of the others, but you can tell it is really overflowing, and it is in all of these pots. But I like that look. It looks lush and really, I don't know, just beautiful. I'm also really pleased with how these African daisies are doing. They actually are even better on this side over here because it's getting more sun, and they are just sending up more and more buds. I am coming out and deadheading them, but they're looking great. On either end, I have a beautiful Superbena. This is gorgeous. And I also have Rockapulco Double Impatience. Now the Double Impatience I think are a great sort of mid-size filler in here. They haven't gone hog wild for me. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how they continue, but I feel like, okay, I still see that they're planted in here. I like that. I like the darker foliage, the smaller leaves, that contrast with the lime. So I'm really pleased with how this is looking. Now if you look down here, you're going to see that I have one of my larger bag in a pot. And this is a really sunny location. So I had a hydrangea here and it started to get too much sun. So I just quickly lifted that bag out and put in this bag, which is a Boscobel rose, and it is doing gorgeous. Look at all these blossoms. The buds are beautiful. I did have a little trouble with aphids at one point, and I sprayed it with Captain Jack's dead bug. No trouble since then. This sweet potato vine, which is like overtaking everything, is the Proven Winners light green, and this is a much more vigorous sweet potato vine. So I expect, I've actually trimmed it up a couple times. It's just like going everywhere. And then I do have one Superbena in here. I have Cherry Burst back here, and this is sort of a reddish pink color that is just doing very well. Also very fond of sun. So I like this sun combination. And remember, although I usually do hydrangeas in my bags in the center here, a rose or another centerpiece works really well too. In our next planter here, we have a beautiful dwarf dahlia. This is where I use my cheat sheet here. This is Midi Malta. It's a Delina. It's beautiful. And I have my Double Impatience next to it. And these beautiful little petunias that are overflowing here are Supertunia Raspberry Rush. And I think they are just doing so well. This little stripe in them, oh, love it. Coming up in the center, which is going to get much taller, I'll show you here, are our pentas, our star flowers. They're looking really good also. And then of course our sweet potato vine is just like, whoa. Once again, just like in the last one, our Double Impatience, they're holding their own, but they're barely holding their own. So we'll see how they continue. Let's keep going. So for our third deck railing planter, I think my favorite piece of this is this beautiful velvety petunia, and this is Supertunia Royal Velvet, and that just describes it so well, that deep royal purple color, and it's just velvety. It is starting to cascade here. I have some on this side. I love it. I do have my double impatiens that are looking really great, and you probably can't see it, but I'll hold down our super growing potato vine here. We do have some dahlias that are coming up in the center, and some of the star flowers, the pentas, and they're doing really, really well. So it just looks so healthy. Now down in the corner over here, we have our beautiful big sweet potato vine. We have a hydrangea centerpiece. This is City Line Mars with this beautiful Picotee bicolor blossom. And of course we have Supertunia Bordeaux. That didn't come out right. And we have Supertunia Bordeaux. There we go. Which I love. It's such a unique looking plant flower with these veins in the center that are the dark, dark purple to stand out. And when I think of how this was when I planted that rim gap with just the 3 Supertunia vines and the 3 potato vines, wow, this just looks like a mass of leaves and flowers in the corner here, and I love that. Right next to it, we have Supertunia Jazzberry and some fuchsia, and this is not the Rockin' Salvia. This is a different fuchsia. I'll look it up for you and put it on the screen. But this color combination, they just match so perfectly. I've seen hummingbirds at it. I'm going to have to trim it back soon. It's just getting so full. Right above that, we have this fabulous hot color deck planter, and I think this might be my favorite, and I'm really surprised that it's my favorite. I love this particular Supertunia. So this is Supertunia Persimmon. Oh my goodness, with the yellow center, and it's just gorgeous trailing down. This is the Coral Acapulco Double Impatient, and it really seems to show up nicely. So I'm hoping the others start blooming this much and sort of fill in too. I just love that. And then over here at the sides, oh, with this yellow and pink sort of ombre look, that's the luscious berry blend of Lantana, and it is doing so well. We have the double impatiens peeking over, and then I have a beautiful white mandevilla. Now this isn't the vining kind that I have, that's that deep cherry color. This is just sort of a mounding white kind, and I have some light pink pentas that are coming back here. I am in love with this, so you'll probably see this combination again. I feel like this should be a combination that everybody, like, take note of this. This is good. Okay, we have another one over here. So this is a really interesting deck planter. Of course, we have a ton of our sweet potato vine, but tucked in here we have Persian Shield. And actually I pinched this down once, so I think it's gonna get bushier now, and it gets pretty tall. It just has this great contrast between the lime and those deep purple, which I love. And then I have a little heliotrope. This is, let me check my cheat sheet here. This is Heliotrope Marine, which is beautiful, but on the other side, oh, it's really filled in and tall and looking fabulous. So I'm hoping this side catches up, but this looks really, really good from the other direction. And then cascading over here, we have Supertunia Raspberry Rush again with that bicolored look. And here we have our double impatiens. This is a lighter lilac color or soft pink. And this, not a lot going on here, but there are a ton of buds. So I can just imagine how this is going to look in a few days when all of a sudden these open and we have this beautiful flush of light pink flowers. Below that, I have 2 planters. So in this first planter here, this is a new type of Supertunia Vista for me. This is Paradise. And I think that this bright, bright color, once again, like I look out the window and these bright colors, this is what catches my eye. I love that. Paired with the very light verbena. The verbena it's in there, but it's barely holding its own against these other very vigorous plants. I have one of my lime coleus that I grew from seed, and then this is a gift hydrangea that I got last year. I overwintered it in the shed, and look at this, in bloom. I'm so happy. So when you are given one of those beautiful little gift hydrangeas for Mother's Day or for an appreciation day, save it. and you can try growing it in a pot and overwintering it somewhere cool. It might come back just like this one. The pot right next to that is one of the pots that I did just last week. So it's actually filled in a ton just from last week. It has this white verbena. It has this double, oh, what is this? I love it. It's like a little rose. Let me look it up here, just a second. New for me this year, Superbell's Doublet Love Swept. So this is a Calibrachoa, and it is gorgeous. One of the jazzberries are Truffula Pink Gomphrena and a Dahlia. And I already think this is filling in so well in the 1 week. It's just awesome. I love this little corner of my deck. I see hummingbirds coming to the Rocking Fuchsia Salvia up here, which is just like poof, taken off. Look at how the Supertunia bubblegum has just gone everywhere. We have some of the verbena. It's there, it's coming in cycles. So there's a whole bunch that bloomed, and now you don't have to deadhead those, but you do have to sort of wait in between before you get your next flush of blossoms. So this whole area will be covered shortly with those. We have the sweet potato vine, which is just like everywhere. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I have my beautiful mandevilla. Now this is the vining kind. So I have trimmed this back. It blooms on new growth. So the great thing with the vining mandevilla is that you can keep trimming it back. It's fine. It'll just flush out more growth and more blossoms. I have my sweet potato vine, which looks like it needs a drink of water. It's pretty hot out here. This beautiful hydrangea that's just sent out some buds here is a cutting that I took 2 years ago from my purple hydrangea that's in the yard that I don't know what kind it is. It must be an older kind that blooms on old wood because it's not blooming in the yard. But this one I overwintered in the shed, and yes, it has blossoms that are starting, so I'm excited about that. I have my stained glass hosta, which is that great lime color. I have this beautiful nonstop pink begonia. This is the first year that I actually planted annuals around the base of my mandevilla. I usually do a mandevilla like this, but I just stuck in 3 annuals: the sweet potato vine, the superbena, and the Supertunia bubblegum. They just have cascaded over so well, and I was a little worried because the mandevilla likes it a little dry and hot, whereas my Supertunias like it a little more moist, but they seem to be fine. Right on the other side, I have an identical planter to this. So here is my matching mandevilla. I just did the alternating arrangement, so the Supertunias both face each other. Superbena in the center, our beautiful potato vine. This is one of my new roses here. So this is going to be the climbing pretty in pink Eden rose. If you remember, it was shipped to me and they had trimmed back all the foliage for shipping, which is normal, but look at how beautifully it has leafed in, and we have some very tiny buds starting, so I'll get to see what they look like this year. And then here we have the other planter that I planted up with Dan when we chose some unusual annuals we hadn't tried before. The purples, we have this beautiful purple sweet potato vine. Once again, I came back to this beautiful Supertunia Blue Skies, which is doing well. Here's the blue veined petunia. We have a African daisy, and oh, and I love this one. Hold it, I gotta tell you what color it is here. This is the midnight petunia. I'm gonna move a bit so you can see better. Look at it trailing right over here, and it is just so happy. It's filled in this much in a week. That is amazing. So over here by our couches, we have a little low planter with some of the different dahlias in here. And this is going to be an African daisy. It has not bloomed yet, and I honestly cannot remember what color it was supposed to be. So that will be a nice surprise in the next couple days. It has a lot of blossoms, a lot of buds here that will be coming. And then over to my right, these were just some of the leftover coleus that I grew from seed. They ended up just being stuck in this pot. I do have a red superbena down here. But you know what? Most of the day, this corner, whereas the rest of the deck is getting a lot of sun, it's in shade. It's just starting to get a little sun here. They do look a little droopy when the sun is directly on them, but they poof back up and they're really, really pretty just to have that little touch of green here. So as I look out over everything, I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite places to be in the garden. I just feel like even though here I am up on hardscape on our deck, sitting in regular chairs, I have so many beautiful flowers really, really close to me. I am loving all the planters. So I hope that you experiment with some planters in your garden. I'd love to see some pictures of those. If you have any advice or recommendations for future plantings for me, please drop those in the chat below too. Take a moment to like and subscribe. I love bringing these videos to you. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.